All right, let's talk about something every founder thinks about, but maybe doesn't plan for nearly enough. Building a business, it's like climbing this massive mountain, right? All that grit and vision and hard work to get to the top. But what about the climb down? Your exit strategy. That's the final and maybe the most crucial chapter of the whole journey. It's how you get back down safely with everything you've worked for.
I mean, you've poured your heart, your soul, everything into this thing, built it from absolutely nothing. But that day will come. Every single founder has to face it. So what's the plan? How do you actually leave? Do you sell, pass it on to family, or do you just shut it down? The answer you come up with is going to define not just your financial future, but your whole legacy.
And look, this is not some maybe someday kind of thing. The numbers are pretty staggering. A whopping 75% of small business owners are planning to get out within the next decade. Think about that for a second. That's 3 out of every 4 founders you might know. So yeah, the intention to leave is definitely there.
But here comes the reality check. Only about 30% of those businesses that actually try to sell succeed. That is a huge gap between what people want to do and what actually happens. So what gives? What's the difference between the ones who cash out and the ones who just fizzle out? Well, it all comes down to one word: preparation.
Which brings us right into our first big idea. You have got to plan early to maximize your value. It's kind of like selling a house, right? You wouldn't just throw a for sale sign on the lawn without cleaning up, fixing the leaky faucet, maybe a fresh coat of paint. It's the exact same principle here, just, with way higher stakes. This is how we're going to close that gap between the 75% who want to sell and the 30% who actually do.
So what can you do right now? Well, it boils down to 3 foundational steps. First, get a professional valuation. Seriously, you can't get a good price if you're just guessing what your business is worth. Second, document everything. I'm talking processes, client contracts, the whole shebang. Your secret sauce can't just live in your head. It has to be a playbook someone else can pick up. And third, clean up the books. Your financials have to be spotless. They're the ultimate proof that your business is healthy and a solid investment.
Now, let's talk about a huge deal killer for buyers. It's called key person dependency. And what that really means is the business is you. If you're the only one with the client relationships, if you're the only one who knows how everything really works, well, a buyer sees that as a massive risk, because when you walk out the door, the value of the company might just walk out with you. So how do you fix that? It's actually pretty straightforward. If you're the owner doing everything, you got to start building a real management team. Delegate. If you're the only one who talks to the clients, start bringing your key people into those meetings. Get them connected. And if all the processes are just in your head, it's time to write the playbook. Create those standard operating procedures. The goal here is simple. Make the business the asset, not you. Okay, so let's say you've done the prep work. Your business is looking good, it's sellable. Now what? Well, you've got options, and we're going to walk through 7 different ways you can exit, broken down into 3 main groups.
First up, let's talk about internal transfers. This is exactly what it sounds like. Passing the business to people who are already on the inside. People who get the culture, know the clients, and won't have a massive learning curve.
The classic example here is a management or employee buyout. You'll hear it called Amoebo. The big pro? Continuity. It's amazing for keeping the culture alive and the team together. But, and this is a big but, there's a major hurdle: money. Your employees are probably great at what they do, but they might not have a few $1,000,000 sitting in the bank to buy you out.
And that's where you have to get a little creative with the financing. Sure, they can try for bank loans. But the really interesting one here is the seller loan. This is where you, the owner, basically act as the bank. You let the buyers pay you over time. Honestly, this is often the key that makes the whole deal work. Another way to keep it in-house is passing the business down to your family. And yeah, this can be an amazing way to keep a legacy going, but let's be real, it can also get messy. You absolutely need careful professional succession planning. It's not just a good idea, it's critical for protecting both your family and the business you built. Okay, let's shift gears to our second category, market sales. This is what most people picture when they think about selling a business, going out on the open market and finding an outside buyer. And the big fish in this pond is the strategic acquisition. This is where another company, usually a bigger one, buys you for more than just your profits. They want your market share, your customer list, your team, your brand. This is where you often see the highest price tags, but you better believe they're going to want to see rock-solid proof of stable contracts and loyal customers. And it's really important to know the difference between an acquisition and a merger. In an acquisition, a bigger company basically absorbs yours. You're exiting.
A merger is different. That's when two companies join forces to become a new single company. And in that case, you might stick around as part of the new leadership team. They're two totally different paths.
All right, our last group covers what we can call alternative exits. These are for founders who might not want that clean break, or maybe a traditional sale just isn't the right fit. And here are two really interesting ways to ease your way out. First, an earnout. This is where you sell, but you agree to stay on for a while to help hit certain goals. When you do, you unlock your full payment. It's a great way to bridge the gap if you and the buyer can't agree on the company's value today. Then there's passive ownership. You're not selling, you're just stepping back. You hire a great management team to run the day-to-day, and you keep collecting the profits. And then there's the last option, just closing up shop. Look, sometimes a sale just isn't going to happen, but you can't just lock the doors and walk away. The key thing to remember is that you have to do it the right way. You have to follow the legal steps to dissolve the company properly. This is all about protecting yourself from any future headaches and making sure you leave with your reputation intact. Okay, wow, we've gone through a ton of options here, right? From selling to your team to selling to a competitor. So in this last section, let's get to the real question. How in the world do you choose the right path for you? This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? A strategic acquisition? That's probably your biggest payday, but it's going to take longer and it's a bit riskier. A management buyout? The price might be a little lower, but man, the transition is usually so much faster and smoother. It really is all about trade-offs. Because at the end of the day, there's no magic one-size-fits-all answer. It all comes down to your personal goals. You have to ask yourself, is getting the absolute highest price my number one goal? Or is it more important for me to protect the company culture and take care of my people? How fast do I want to be out? Do I want to stay involved at all? You've got to be really honest with yourself about what you really want. And look, if there's only one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this number, $3.7 trillion. That's the estimated value gap in U.S. businesses. It's money left on the table mostly because owners just don't plan their exit early enough. Starting that planning process now, that's what gives you options, that's what gives you power. So think about that mountain you spent years climbing. The final chapter, the descent, is still totally unwritten. And the planning you start doing today will decide what that headline says. Will it be, founder makes a brilliant exit at the top of their game? Or will it be, another great business just fades away? It's your story to write.